And the thing is, I do believe there was talk about these things. I believe if we study history, the Confederates were able to shoot pterodactyls, back in the Civil War, and they spread these things out. Anybody can look it up online.
Google it
They
yourself.
spread these things out, and this is a historical fact. So, they spread this thing out, and it's got a huge winglet. It was a pterodactyl they shot. So, of course, these things have been around. Now, they went extinct, obviously, slowly, but surely. And so...
What I'm saying is Jesus wrote a dinosaur to work. That's history. It's in the Bible. How to train your dragon.
Historical facts.
And if you don't believe it, do your own research. Pull up Google. You'll find the picture, I promise.
Oh my god.
Thank you, John Gleason, Godless engineer, for gifting me this beautiful moment. Y'all remember when they tried to cancel Steven Spielberg for posing with an animatronic triceratops? Animal rights activists.
Back it up.
Hit it from the back.
Cloaca. Historical facts.
Eat my ass, BP. You're down here bailing on the rest of us because you don't want to process your grief and shame like a normal person by drinking and mistreating strangers.
No, Rick. It is you who must nibble my cloaca, or bird asshole.
Everyone knows what a cloaca is.
back in the Civil War, and they spread these things out. Anybody can look it up online. They spread these things out, and this is a historical fact. So, they spread this thing out, and this has got a huge winglet. It's a pterodactyl they shot. So, of course, these things have been around. Now, they went extinct, obviously, slowly, but surely. And so...
Paul Bunyan was sharing some Funyuns with his pet velociraptor.
Whoa.
Oh, you thought it was an ox? Roll back the clock. Let me knock the socks off. Historical facts.
I didn't cut out. You heard me. Are you a pervert or something? Okay.
Oh, shit. I forgot to resync. My shit got fucked up. Anyways, what's up, heathens? How y'all doing? Yes, I'm unmuted. Great. Oh, not a cockroach. Send in a super chat. Maybe we'll get our first new one. We got all new super chat stuff tonight. In case you're wondering. Oh, can you smell the pumpkin spice? It's not one of the new ones. That's an old one. But we got not a cockroach that says, "Yay, I catched alive. Too bad it's 3:30 a.m. So I'll go to bed now and watch this shit fuckery tomorrow." But have a good night there, man. Anyways, tonight we have Eric Hovind, which is you're fine. So tonight we have Eric Hovind, who is the estranged son of Kent Hovind, and tonight he's going to be telling us why the Earth is definitely young from a biblical perspective. And so we're going to be analyzing this from, I guess, his perspective. I really don't know. Oh, we got a new member, Drew's Book Reviews. Woo woo! Welcome back there, Drew. So glad that you were able to make it back over here. Look at you. Daniel M says, David says, good night. My birthday is on Sunday and I'll be fucking 40. Woot woot for the 40, I guess. Happy birthday. Since it's so close. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Daniel. Damn, Daniel. Listen, donating this much money only secures your seat in hell. Happy birthday to you. I don't, what did it say? Okay, it had the Caucasian shirt on, so I don't think that it was a new one. I do have some of the old ones still in there, so they're not all completely new, but it's like 90% new alerts. The more super chats that we get in, the more chances that we'll have for the new super chat alerts.
We got a new member,
and we've got new ones all the way up to the 1999 mark. We got Dildo Baggins becoming a member. Welcome there, Dildo. Jester Lord of Fools says, how's life back in San Andreas, GE? You know what? Don't even know. I am so fucking triggered by this entire situation.
Oh, do y'all smell that candy corn?
I left the candy corn one in there. Okay, before we do all the transitioning and everything like that into the intro and everything, fucking Rockstar. Okay, so they released the definitive edition on Thursday, and then for whatever fucking reason, they decided to do maintenance on that day as well. Then today we find out that it's still under maintenance, but they have to remove the old versions of what they put up because it had some unauthorized files in it, and so they had to take shit down.
I'm thankful for my liquor.
There you go. That was a new one. Liquor. Quentin's going to hell. So anyways, I'm pretty pissed off. I hope that they get GTA
this much money only secures
so
your
that
seat
I
in
can
hell.
play it. I get that a lot of people are upset by like the graphical updates and everything like that, and they kind of look really fucking weird. But hopefully when they get the correct versions up, it's just like, I just don't know. I'm so fucking triggered. Like that's my entire rant about Rockstar right now and GTA and all that. And I'm so fucking pissed. Anyways, so that was Jester. Then we got Paleo 101 says, sup, dude? Like father, like son, am I right? Yeah, pretty much. Except he doesn't. Huh? Well, yeah. Well, no, he's talking about Eric. I was gonna say he doesn't body slam his wife. But anyways, we got Alex Baranowski who says everyone look up Zulia.
Liquor.
Lobiipes or something. And tell me you wouldn't call it a dildo head mantis. Okay. Quentin Van Booven going to hell by saying, just sending in my weekly tithe. This show is going to be painful. Eric is a version of Kent that doesn't understand half the shit he is spouting. I couldn't agree more. And then Alex Baranowski says, by Rockstar, do you mean game or the energy drink? Oh, definitely the game. Oh, fuck. Fucking game. Anyways, so, if you guys want to fuck around and find out why Eric Hovind thinks that the biblical worldview is correct and how he dates the age of the earth by genealogies, then please stay tuned. Oh shit, I gotta let Elizabeth.
I don't know what y'all have heard, but donating is not going to make me stop.
So I'm so sorry, Elizabeth. It didn't trigger one of the newer ones. Elizabeth says, hope everyone is doing well. Since you're not wearing a hat tonight, G, I'm trying to imagine you with longer hair. Can't seem to picture it. It just doesn't exist. I could show you pictures, but I'd rather not.
Thanksgiving is not a good day to be my pants.
Says, my parents are going on 55 years of marriage. Can you wish them a happy anniversary? Are they watching? Like, what the fuck? Happy anniversary, Jane Pusacker's mom and dad.
What's up, heathens? Today's video is brought to you by Ridge Wallets. Are y'all tired of carrying around big, thick wallets like this? Or how about you ladies? You tired of carrying around a big, giant, honking guy like this right here? Well, say no more. Get rid of those big, thick guys, and why don't you pick up a Ridge Wallet? Well, heathens, I gotta say, I love this Ridge Wallet. For one thing, it's got a small profile, but even though it has a small profile, it still holds up to 12 cards. See, you just pop the cards out right there, and then you can use it to buy your liquor. Oh, and another thing, it comes in about 30 colors, including carbon fiber and burnt titanium. So if you'd like 10% off your order at ridge.com, be sure to use the link below, or just go to ridge.com/godless engineer. And you too can have the most awesome wallet that you have ever had in your life. And you can finally get rid of this bulky motherfucker right here. Go with Ridge today. Ridge.com, Godless Engineer.
Yes, so tonight we are sponsored again by Ridge, and I thank them so much for being willing to sponsor so many of the videos here, and not. I know that a lot of there are some people that I saw this week in the comments that was like, "Oh, you're a sellout now." I guess that sucks for us. I don't know if you want to consider me a sellout or not, but if you want 10% off Ridge wallets, just go to ridge.com/godless engineer.
Happy Thanksgiving, you heathens.
Mike Mick wants to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, saying, "Is it Friday already? Roll Tide!" I don't watch the sports ball, but sure, Roll Tide.
Holy shit, this'll buy me a cranberry log. Happy Thanksgiving, you heathens.
Drew's Book Reviews just wants to say it's good to be back, and Lisa for Truth says, please send some love to Vice Rhino. That could really help out Rhino right now. I don't know if anybody heard the news or follows him on Twitter, but recently he lost Mrs. Rhino, and yesterday she died in the morning hours. It's been tough, and he could really use a lot of support by either watching his channel or by donating to his fundraiser that he's running this Christmas.
Thanksgiving is not a good day to be my pants.
And really, that's what Vice says is the best thing to do if you want to try to help, is to donate to the fundraiser, because Mrs. Rhino really worked hard on pumping that fundraiser up and doing a lot of good with it. Right now, it's $700 away from $20,000, and they originally started with a goal of $7,000. Then they doubled it to 14 after they passed that, and now it's gone up to 20. And so it's crazy insane. And I know that Mrs. Rhino would be so ecstatic about this. She cared so much about that fundraiser. So if you want to help Vice, one bit, you can binge his content, but also at the same time, while you're binging his content, also donate to his fundraiser, because that's something that Miss Rhino really was really passionate about. So definitely go and consider that. I think you can get to an easy link to go to. It's just, I think it's vicerhino.com/donate. Let me double check that real quick. And it's where? It's pinned on Casey's Twitter. Let's see. I think it's... because Vice Rhino doesn't have a middle name. He's like, fuck middle names. Yes, it's vicerhino.com/donate. So if you want to help out, you got like $5 to spare or something like that. Or just share it. Share that link, and that'll really help out a lot too. So again, that's what, if you look at Vice's Twitter, that's what he says is the best thing to do. But I'm urging you also to binge the fuck out of his content. He's got great content over there. So definitely go check that out. A little bit of house cleaning before we get to the super chats, before we get into the rest of the show. So this weekend we have a debate between Richard Carrier and Father James Gadd. It's going to be on what's the best historical approach, or the best approach in general, to the Gospels. Of course, Father Gadd is going to be coming from the position of Christian worldview. And then Carrier is going to be bringing the more historical approach to the gospel. So we're going to have a really good debate on that. It's going to be Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central. So if you want to, I don't think that I have it tagged after this, but it's on the channel. And I've been pushing it all week on the premieres. But you'll definitely see me go live. Subscribe right now if you want to get notified, and make sure you hit the ring-a-dingy that bell so you get notifications. Also, in a few weeks, though, Carrier and I are going to hop on a stream on Friday night, a little bit earlier time, but we're going to be hopping on and we're going to be discussing Bart Ehrman's appearance on Holy Kool-Aid's channel, because apparently Holy Kool-Aid got him to come on there to push his seminar that I also pushed, and I also have problems with his seminar, but we can get to that a different time. But we're also going to be doing that in the next few weeks. That live stream is already scheduled as well, so when it gets closer, I'll be pushing that at the end of my premieres as well. All right, so let's see. We got a couple super chats. We got Dragon Master 01118, who says, Tuesday I go to the Mayo in Rochester, Minnesota for my CMR land. Wednesday, see the doctor for the results. Might be the last time I need to go. I'm not up to date on all those terms there, Dragon, but let me know if that's a good thing. If it's a good thing, yay. I'm glad. I Heart Dog says, got my Ridge wallet at 10% off because GE code works well. That's awesome. Thank you so much there, I Heart Dogs, for using that code. They might sponsor me again in the future so I can anger more people and get more downvotes. But anyways, thank you so much there, I Heart Dogs, for using that code. So of course, if you're new here to the channel, we have a kind of a routine that we go through. First, we have Today I Learned, and then we have some comments, and then we've got shitty ass science, or well, TED Talks with Brocephus, I think is kind of what it's turned into. But Brocephus is going to be answering a science question today. So, and then we're going to get into the video. If you will, please smash that like button if you're going to be here for the stream. And be sure to leave a comment either in the side chat there or in the comments on this video. I really love seeing all the interaction that we get on all of our videos here, so definitely do that. Please do remember that a portion of all the revenue that we generate here on the YouTube channel, a portion of it is going to be going to some kind of charity each month. This month, we're actually saving money, getting money in to buy toys and other Christmas presents for foster children at Kids to Love. It's a local charity that makes sure the foster kids kind of get taken care of around here. And one of their drives is for Christmas presents. And so we're going to be not working with them, but we're going to be getting a list of things that kids need this year, and we're going to be going and buying presents for them. So if you want to help us out, consider becoming a member or doing a super chat and all that kind of stuff. Now, if you're wondering what I'm drinking tonight, it's just a crack and cream soda. I'm running low on liquor. I got to send Brocephus out to get some. Last time, KC went out and got some, and she spent a lot of money on liquor. Shit, we got Cadence saying for the kiddos. Woo! That's a big one. Thank you so much there, Cadence. I appreciate you. All right, so let's. Are y'all ready to get into the Today I Learned? You ready for that, hunt? Ready? Oh, it's probably not gonna do the animation. Fuck. Today I learned behind the scenes. I got the entire rest of the show set up today, and I did not get the transitions reloaded. Fuck. Oh man. Anyways, we got Gary White with his member milestone chat saying, "Hey GE, have you heard about the sweet potato beer?" No. Is it a seltzer? I'd do the seltzer. We got Quentin Van Booven who says, "I thought we all knew this money goes to
Happy
liquor."
Thanksgiving, you heathens.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Mike
you
Mick is
heathens.
wishing a happy Thanksgiving too. Mike Mick says, "Try Four Roses bourbon. It's strong and tastes good." I will definitely give that a taste there. Oh, it's a Kentucky bourbon. Interesting. Nice. I don't know if anybody carries it around here, but I'll definitely try. We'll do a weekend trip up to Kentucky to get it. I mean, we're always looking for reasons to go places. Anyways, first up on Today, I learned that Trump's ex-communications director has warned that if the former president wins a second term, he would establish an autocracy in the US. He would weaponize the justice system against political opponents and use the military for political purposes. So, listen, regardless of what happens in the next presidential election, like as far as who's running for it, do not vote for Trump. If you want Nazi Germany in the fucking United States, then I guess you can vote for Trump and you can heil Trump. But if you don't want that, do not vote for Trump because he will fuck the United States up. And I don't know. I don't feel good about the possibility of Trump running in 2024, but you know, if JFK Jr. comes back, maybe. People actually think that JFK Jr. will come back. Oh man. Anyways, okay. Next on Today, I learned about a Mexican plane that made an emergency landing on a race course in Mallow, Ireland in 1983. In order for the plane to successfully take off again, a runway had to be specifically built. So the captain and crew spent 39 days in the town and became minor celebrities among the locals. 39 days in Ireland? I'd take it.
Happy Thanksgiving, you heathens.
I don't know why that Happy Thanksgiving is the only one that's playing. Yeah, Dragon Master 0118 saying MRI to make sure the brain tumor hasn't grown back. Oh, dude, I really hope that is the case. I hope that it hasn't. So, yes, definitely make sure it hasn't grown back. And then finally on Today, I learned we've got in 1990, Peter Maxwell of California owned a manufacturing company, employed himself, and had a serious accident on the job. Hired 2 lawyers for the company and for himself, sued his company, won $122,000, wrote the $122,000 off, and was then refuted and fined by the IRS for fraud, then won it back in an appeal. That's fucking crazy.
I don't know what y'all have heard, but donating is not going to make me stop. Fuck me in the asshole.
Oh, can you smell the pumpkin spice? Maybe I need to adjust the percentages on these alerts or something. Anyways, Gary White says a brewery in Queens, New York makes it, and I think that some breweries around you guys might make it. I don't know. Okay. Thanks, Gary. And then we got Jester's Lord of Fools that says, or Jester, sorry. Trump's ticket for White House is signed from Russia with love. Yeah. All right. So finally on Today, I learned. Oh wait, we already did this. Right. This is crazy. The fact that you can do this and win it back in an appeal. That's really fucking nuts, isn't it? Like I don't think that anything should work like this. This just seems shady. All right. So that's going to be it for the Today I Learns today. We do have a number of comments to get to. And I just want to let everybody know this may get posted on Facebook. I don't get too political too often. I am very well in my personal life. I'm very political, but as far as like on GE goes, I normally only keep it in the realm of like where religion and government sort of cross. And so, in one of these instances, this guy apparently doesn't know me at all, even though he says that he's followed me for a while. He says, Lou DePazzo Jr. Says, Dear Godless Engineer,
Dear Godless Engineer, despite your cynical tone, in the past I have read your posts because they generally do provoke thought.
In the last few days, you have turned political, despite your cause having nothing to do with politics. I have to stop right here. My cause definitely has something to do with politics. When you have the religious right that are weaponizing religion and crazy ideas, crazy conspiracy theories in order to attempt to overthrow the government, I feel like that definitely crosses into my particular field on Godless Engineer. So back the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about.
I have blocked very few sites in the last 5 years because I like to look at all valid points. Not that you care, but you have got on my last nerve. Don't bother with some smart-ass answer. I won't see it. Goodbye!
I mean, what? You're going to leave this comment and then be like, I'm not even going to read your response. Well, good, because I put in there that GIF where it's the 20th Century Fox logo, but it says, no one cares. Because I really don't. I don't care if people follow the Facebook page or follow me at all. You can follow me or not. Hell, if you wanted to unsubscribe and totally separate yourself from anything having to do with Godless Engineer, all because I, do sponsorships or anything like that, fine. Fuck off. I don't care. I find it funny that this guy's like, you've gotten political. I posted like 2 or 3 political things in one day, and that's it. I barely ever post anything political, but you compare or you highlight how snowflakey the religious right is, and then all of a sudden you're just too political. Right, and also the banner that I've had for the longest time so far has said science, politics, religion. So I don't understand why people are surprised by it, but it's what the fuck ever. Oh, another thing that really popped up was I shared a post about critical race theory, and apparently a significant portion of people in the atheist demographic, or at least the people that follow my pages on both Instagram and on Facebook, have wild concepts about what CRT is. Like this person right here says, we learned about segregation before CRT. It doesn't have to be taught with the frame that children born in the 21st century are liable for the sins of the 16th century. If that's the case, how far back do you go? Do they use slaves to build the pyramids? What continent is Egypt on again? Africa? I don't understand like that last part of the question, because it like are you just asking a general social studies kind of question or a general geography question? I don't know. Anyways, so there's this wild misconception about critical race theory in that they think that it's blaming children now for basically the sins of their father. And that's not at all what CRT does. Critical race theory is just taking a critical look at where race intersects with our legal system and how our legal system has been manipulated to unfairly target minorities in America. Like that's a main that is a main target for CRT. And I, of course, here in Alabama, Governor Meemaw has apparently outlawed teaching critical race theory, which I think is kind of hilarious because the people that were racist as fuck and trying to hold on to segregation and their racist ideologies and everything like that, tooth and nail, they were trying to hang on to it. And now they're like, well, we don't want to teach people that we were like some of the racist people in fucking history of the United States. I don't know. We don't want to teach kids that, about that particular facet of our fucking past. So let's not like teach kids that. Instead, we're going to ban it and we're just going to whitewash history. I feel like is what the intent of that is. But of course, you have people that are asking dumb fucking questions like, what continent is Egypt on? I mean, if you really don't know, I'll answer for you, but this seems like a Google question that you could easily get the answer for. No need to ask me on Instagram. Lisa for Truth had done a member milestone chat saying, how do people still love Trump? They still love him for whatever fucking reason. They have a hard on for Trump, and I don't know why. Okay, next. So it's a Steven Crowder meme, of course, changed my mind. And it says, as much as a few atheists try to deny it, atheism is a belief system. Tater's gonna tate. There we go. I was hoping somebody would find that one. Who's your buddy? Maybe we just need to erect a CRT statue, since most of the whiners seem to also think they love their statues. Oh, hey, look, the Stream Elements thing is working. There are commands in the chat now that you guys can do. I don't know what they are. I just activated it tonight. But anyways, okay. Yes, definitely erect CRT statues, because that's the only way people are told about history. Gobble gobble, motherfucker. Gobble gobble, motherfucker. I love that one. Mike Nick says he is the Great White Hope. Ha! Yeah, of course he is. So anyways, atheists believe atheism to be true in an informed position. Any position where the holders believe it is a result of any level of research is a belief. Need more proof? Just look at fervor in which they and only they try to deny it. Just look at fervor in which they and only they try to deny it. Okay, atheism is not a belief system. It's literally just it literally just describes whether or not you believe in God. That's not, if that is an entire belief system, then wow, you have a small belief system. But it's not a belief system because it only has one component to it, and that's whether or not you believe in a God. I think that atheism could be part of a larger system of beliefs, but it is not a belief system in and of itself. So anyways. All right, let's get to the next one, because the video is kind of long tonight. I don't want to be going till 3 a.m. or some shit. Molly Sayer says, my son's friend is year 8 and had second Pfizer on Monday. Monday night, taken to the hospital by ambulance with chest pain and breathing issues. Doctor in emergency said, I don't even need to ask if he's had the Pfizer. Probably the second shot. Seeing it daily, he said. I'm gonna need a citation on this. Tell me where you're talking about, what hospital you took your son to. I mean, I don't mean to ask too many intrusive questions, but I mean, if you're saying that it's daily, and the doctor is saying that the second shot from Pfizer is causing kids to have a heart attack or something, I mean, I feel like more citations are you can't just throw that shit out there and expect people to believe it. We are definitely not staying here all night. Oh, next up is somebody that's really upset over me attacking religion. Cincy Hess says, feel good attacking a person's religion? Well, for one thing, saying a person's religion is, I feel like needlessly focusing on the person, the religion being attached to the person. Am I attacking a religion? Yes, I'm attacking a religion, but that doesn't mean that it's a personal thing. And I feel like they're, oh, do y'all smell that candy corn? And I feel like this person is sort of twisting it into being a personal thing, and it's really not. You are not your religion. Your religion stands completely separate from you as a person. Yes, I attack the religion. I don't think that a religion necessarily deserves respect. I believe people deserve
I gotta
respect. I
tell
don't
you,
think that you
I
should be a
am
dick to
thankful for
somebody.
my liquor.
But you can definitely, criticize a religion. We got Jason Kolasike.
Gobble till you wobble, y'all. Gobbity wobbity wobble.
Jason Kolasike says, related to tonight's topic, saw earlier in chat that Kent is skirting a temporary ban on YouTube. Apparently he's streaming on Matt Powell's channel, or at least he was. So yeah, he's temporarily banned from his Kent Hovind official channel. And I think that they're picking up things over on Matt's channel. Although I did see Matt was the only one on stream tonight. So I don't know. Rune Norderhog says, I don't know if I pronounced your name right. I need more cracking before I can do that, I think. The truth is that for many, it may not even be about the race part, but just about people encouraging children doing any form of critical analysis. I mean, maybe it really comes off to me like the racists in the South don't want to teach their kids about how racist they used to be. Or are. Sorry, you're right. Are. How racist they are. I mean, really, if you wanted to teach kids about race in the South, let's see, you could watch Rosewood, Mississippi Burning, and A Time to Kill. Those 3 movies will fuck you up as far as like race in the South goes. And I feel like everybody needs to see those 3 movies, and you will understand why teaching critical race theory is important. Of course, Rosewood, like, it's based on a true story, but it's kind of like it's had shit changed in it so that for whatever reason, but you get what I mean. This I actually got off of Atheist Junior, who I believe is in the comments right now. Y'all should definitely go and check out his channel. He's got a lot of great stuff over there. Michael Mazaros said, and To Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah, I would also suggest To Kill a Mockingbird is also a good one. But I guess I was just picking things that people are most likely to watch because they're in color, and
donating this much only makes me drink more.
And I've known people to not watch a movie or something like that just because it's not in color. So I guess I was just picking films that were in color and that they might actually watch. I don't know. Anyways, we got Ronaldo Martinez who says, my old duster says atheism is a choice. I mean, I don't know. I didn't exactly make a choice to become an atheist.
Woo!
That's
KC's money.
I just was unconvinced of the evidence, so I don't know if that's necessarily a choice or not. We got Lisa for Truth who says he got banned because of him body slamming his wife. No. I don't. He was pushing COVID misinformation, and so he got banned. Rightfully so. So it definitely wasn't because of him body slamming his wife. Apparently YouTube is fine with that fact of Kent Hovind. Or there's at least nothing that's immediately ban worthy of doing that. Anyways. Alex Baranowski says, don't be racist. I am a building. It's a funny song. Oh, okay. So don't be racist. I am a building.
Gobble till you
It's a funny
wobble,
song.
y'all.
All right, next on the comments tonight, we got Adrian Deku. He says, how can destroy an atheist? Lazy. What is the purpose of a flower? Game over. Well, for one thing, I would say the purpose of any living organism is to survive. So the purpose of it would just be to survive. But this person's asking in a more transcendental sense, what's the ultimate purpose or the absolute purpose of a flower? And apparently, maybe they're trying to insinuate that God made flowers to be beautiful for us. Like, that's a very self-centered, I guess, kind of way to look at it, but I would also need evidence in order to suggest all that. But in any case, this is not a problem for any atheist. But I feel like this is, I don't know, this could be answered with science, it could be answered with philosophy, it could be answered a number of ways. But they're just acting like, oh, nobody can answer this unless you believe in God. And it's just ridiculous. All right, we got one final one, and then we got shitty ass science, which is gonna be good tonight. And this person who says, YouTube, don't ban me. There is no COVID. There is no evidence. Virus was not in that isolate. Diagnosed or fake. People die because of shitty healthcare and shitty treatment. I mean, that last part right there is true in a sense, because they're shitty healthcare and shitty treatment are the causes of some people dying every year. The first part was totally meaningless. Like, I can grasp what they were trying to say, but I just don't think that their brain was connected to their thumbs or something. But in any case, everything that this person says is false. YouTube, do you hear me? Everything is false. Don't listen to this fucking asshole. Thank you, YouTube, for not banning me. All right. Now we've got some shitty ass science, but y'all are going to have to wait a second, because I got to go get Brocephus, and there's not like a colorful animation thingy in order to... Anyways, I'm going to go get him real quick. I'll be right back. Is it time for me to do my spot? Yes, you asshole. You know what, woman? Too, Timothy. What the fuck ever you know? Don't do that yet. Just hold on. Okay? I spoke a little out of turn. Alright. Don't take my blankie. Gobble till you wobble, y'all. Oh, I remember doing that alert. Gobbledy wobbledy wobble. We got Gnostic Informant, who said, if God ain't real, how you explain chicken being made into patties when they shaped like birds? Atheist checkmate. G.E. Alabama voice. That's a Brocephus voice. We're talking about G.E. Alabama voice. Thank you, Gnostic Informant. G.E. was recently on the Gnostic Informant's channel there, talking about how Jesus doesn't exist and all that bullshit. We all know Jesus existed. Every single New Testament scholar who's also a Christian believes that, so obviously Jesus existed. It's ridiculous to think he didn't. Anyways, if birds evolved from theropods, did early apes and dinosaurs crossbreed to produce the species hunting the kids in the photo? Oh, you obviously don't know your Bible there, whoever wrote this thing, because it is not obviously a crossbreed between apes and dinosaurs that produced this fine creature right here. We got Quentin Van Boeven, who did a milestone chat. Normally I let GE take care of this shit, but I'm going to take over his spot real quick. I do have to wonder if the neighbors ever hear the stuff you, Brocephus, and KC say and wonder to themselves, what's going on over there? And do we need to help? Probably not. I mean, I don't think they could hear.
Donating this much only makes me drink more.
Oh, that's a good point. Drinking. Daniel M says that hat is awesome. I know, right? Bah means no, dipshit. Anyways, our one neighbor likes to throw up rave music in the morning. So, you know, I can only hear a low bump, 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 bump. And he's got it turned up really loud. So I can only guess that they can't hear my ass. Okay? So we're fine. Anyways, what this magnificent creature is called is a Nephilim. Okay, I do believe, or maybe it's a cherubim, although it doesn't have 7 faces and 42 eyes on its wings. So this could just be a very loose interpretation of a cherubim. But anyway, this is a divine creature, okay? And it I know we always talk about how the Nephilim crossbred with humans, but it was definitely not the case that apes crossbred with dinosaurs, okay? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that Jesus rode a dinosaur to work every day, being the savior and everything like that, and everybody else rode dinosaurs too. Okay? They weren't fucking them. Although, I mean, they might have fucked them, I don't know, but this is not a dinosaur ape hybrid, okay? This is obviously a celestial figure. It's a probably a Nephilim. Maybe a Nephilim fucked a human and then produced this. I mean, I really don't know how the genetics work out in that, but it's fairly obvious that something fucked a human, and that something had wings. Might have been one of them pterodactyls that Matt Powell found in the Confederate era, and then subsequently shot. Or well, no, he said the Confederates shot the pterodactyl. Maybe this is a human that fucked a pterodactyl and then had this offspring, because we all know that's how evolution works, you know? And you see, right here, what it's depicted is it's hunting, okay? So you got this creepy-ass celestial bird ape pterodactyl hybrid back there coming down, swooping down like one of them hawks, right? And he's going to grab up those two little kids, right? They're swooping down. It's like, oh! Picked them up by their britches, did one of them suitcase wedges, carried them off, and is going to eat them in their nest. And, you know, it's kind of like in that Futurama episode where, like, all the angels were like little birds. Same thing, but it's a giant, like, American bald eagle kind of thing right there. And she's just waiting to pick up those two little shits down there and take them off and eat them raw. I don't know. She might want to cook some, like, whatever chicken legs would be for them little shits right there. Anyways, it's not apes and dinosaurs fucking. It's Nephilim fucking pterodactyls then producing some wicked creature that then was fucked by a human and then produce this. So get your story fucking straight, okay? Quit pushing all this pseudoscientific propagandistic bullshit, okay? I'm gonna go get GE. Hopefully I don't lose my blankets. If KC takes my blankets, y'all know why I froze to death. I am never an asshole to other people. Am I gonna have to separate you two? Yes. Why? Can't just get along. I don't know what the fuck this is. This just looks like some Renaissance era angel sort of shit. Anyways, are y'all ready to get to the Eric Hovind video? I know, like, everybody that's tuned in so far is like, where's fucking Eric Hovind? I came here for some dipshit Hovind stuff, and all I get is this redneck on screen talking about pterodactyls, fucking other things, and then getting fucked by something else and producing angels. Anyways. All right. Let's make this sudden transition to the video. So recently, Eric Hovind went on this somewhat small channel. I don't know if it's a small channel. I can't remember right off the top of my head whether or not it was small, but it was, you know, I had never heard of them, and I guess they're small because of that. Anyways, Eric went on this particular show, and they were wanting him to explain why the Earth is young. And so, I have a lot of problems with the creationist worldview. For one thing, they can't explain a lot of stuff, but this is going to be us analyzing their explanation for how old the Earth is. And so, at some point, I'm going to interject with some real science to show why that they're wrong about this, but we'll get to that point a little bit later. So let's go ahead and just start this shit up.
Really just wanted to see if you could sort of give me a bird's eye view biblically of the history of the universe And just sort of from creation to now, what are some of the major milestones along with the years that they occurred?
Okay.
Okay. So in reality, the universe inflated, and then 300,000 years later, there was, the energy that permeated throughout the universe was able to transform into what would become atoms. Right? It finally got cool enough for atoms to form. And then once atoms started forming, and then you've got all of this shit happening where, solar systems form and galaxies form and all this other stuff. And then about 4.5 billion years ago, our planet formed, and shit went downhill from there, obviously, to get to the current state that we're in. So basically the earth formed, and eventually water got deposited on the earth, and evolution took over with the living organisms, and developed into all this life. And then asteroid hit, wiped a bunch of shit out, including dinosaurs. And then after that, of course, humans became the apex animal, I guess, on the planet. And now we're here with idiots standing out in front of the book depository, or what was the book depository in Dallas, Texas, waiting for a dead man, JFK Jr., to ride down the street and announce his run with President Trump. And if you guys don't know, JFK Jr. was a Democrat. I don't know why they're celebrating a Democrat, but apparently a Democrat and Republican ticket is in the future. And that's kind of where we're at now. That's why I say it went downhill.
This answer that I'm going to give, obviously, I'm going to come from a biblical perspective. So the way you think about the history of the universe really has to do with your worldview. What do you think happened to start everything? So I'm going to give you the biblical narrative, so to speak, of the history of the universe. I don't put an exact date on creation. It really starts with the creation of the universe. I don't, like I said, put an exact time on it, but somewhere around 6,000 years ago. I don't mind if it's a little more. Hard for that to be any less than that. But 6,000 to 7,000 years ago,
donating this much only makes me drink more.
Daniel M says, you mean JFK didn't make it? Lol. Well, there's actually an interesting thing. KC knows the full conspiracy theory, but apparently JFK was supposed to come back from the dead and just immediately be president. And then at some point, he was what he was going to do was hand off the presidency to Trump, and then immediately die. And then what was it? Trump was going to take power, become a king, and then hand the presidency off to JFK Jr. And apparently there's America's going to be broken up into 7 kingdoms, and there's going to be 7 kings. Trump is one of the kings, with JFK Jr. being some kind of president or something. I don't fucking know. Anyways, that's it. But I do have a list of things that I looked up earlier that apparently got totally wiped out, and I don't know why. So I brought up a list of things that happened prior to, that we can reliably show happened prior to 6,000 years ago. Of course, there is it's called the Holocene, is what we're going to focus on, and I think I'm just going to do a screen grab real quick. Nope, not a break. Hold on.
I gotta tell you, I am thankful for my liquor.
We all know you are. All right. So I know it's really kind of small, but I mean, you can pause it and you can just look it up, the timeline of prehistory on Wikipedia. Jason Cul-de-sac says Eric has got to explain why nova and supernova are going off in under 6,000 years. Is our sun going to snuff out on Black Friday? Maybe. But in any case, so 6,500 years ago is the oldest known gold hoard deposited at Varna Necropolis in Bulgaria. And then another notable thing, apparently 7,500 years ago, copper smelting is in evidence in Polsnik or something, and other locations. 8,000 years ago, evidence of habitation at the current site of Aleppo dates to about 8,000 years ago, although excavations of Tel Caramel, 25 kilometers, 16 miles north of the city, show the area was inhabited about 13,000 years ago. Carbon-14 dating at Tel Ramad on the outskirts of Damascus suggests that the site may have been occupied since the second half of the 7th millennia BC, probably around 6,300 BC. So my point, I'm not going to go through all of this right here and read all of it. My point is that saying that everything was created 6,000 years ago, you've got to be able to explain shit like this. And Eric can't do it with the Bible. All he can do is speculate. Well, God made it that way to test your faith or some kind of shit. But it just doesn't make sense to me if we have shit like this and then to say, oh, but everything's 6,000 years old. What the fuck are you talking about, Eric?
Of the world. And that's again from different genealogies, and we can talk about that later if you want to. But Genesis chapter 5, Genesis chapter 10, the dates are all given there. From creation, the next big event is the flood. So Genesis chapter 7, 8, 9, we hear about the flood that happened that destroyed the whole world.
So that particular story is a sort of not a copying necessarily, but it's like a syncretism with the Epic of Gilgamesh. So I mean, that nothing was destroyed, right, in this flood as far as like the entire world goes. There may have been a local flood. Who the fuck knows? I mean, the Nile flooded on occasion back then. So I mean, it simply didn't cover the entire world. And there's actually not enough water on the planet for that to happen. There's never been enough water on the planet for that to happen. The entire flood is a magical thing. And one of the things they say is that there was actually water up underneath the crust and that it shot out, like it says in the good book, right? Well, the good book. The problem with that idea is that in order for the water to shoot out, for one thing, you would need some kind of source of pressure to push it out, for one. For two, in order for it to come out the way that they're talking about, it would actually move so fast that it would basically turn into steam by the time it got to the surface. And then the amount of heat that would have been released at that point would have flash fried everything on the earth, including Noah and his incestuous plans for his family. And it basically would have blew the planet apart. I mean, it would have totally obliterated the planet. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to say that the flood happened. The only way that you know the flood happened is because of the Bible. The Bible got its story from the Epic of Gilgamesh. So it seems like you don't have any kind of evidence whatsoever. Whenever you hear this shit, don't just nod your head like the guy on the right is doing and being like, yep, that sounds totally legit. Don't do that. Think critically about this shit. Just consider it for a minute and you'll see how ridiculous this idea is.
From the flood, we go to Babel, the Tower of Babel, where man, these people after the flood, they were once again getting to the point where they were destroying the very reason God had created man to worship and serve him and to glorify him. So God has to confuse the languages.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you remember this there, hun, but isn't the Tower of Babel was where they were stacking shit high enough to get to the firmament, which was the celestial realm, right? In order to, I guess, see God or something. And so in order to thwart that, God, confuses them all, has them speaking different languages, which for one thing, totally negates the, how languages actually develop. It's so fucking ridiculous to think. Thank you there, Alex Baranowski. Says, cue the "For the Bible Tells Me So" sound effect from Apologia. Yeah, exactly. That would be perfect right here. I should probably put that on one of my little buttons down here. But it totally ignores how languages develop. It totally ignores like all of these ancient dead languages. Because at that particular point in time, I don't know if Sumerian was still being like written or speak or maybe cuneiform, but it amazes me how easily they just sort of hand wave away the complexities of language and just say, oh, well, God clicked his heels 3 times, snapped his fingers, and took a shit on the earth, and everybody spoke different languages. Are you really expecting me to believe this shit? Of course, he's only reinforcing creationist beliefs to somebody who's already a creationist.
One special group of people to be his chosen people. That's where you get Israel and you get Abraham. And from Abraham, we see through Scripture, it's recording for us what actually happened. I mean, it tells us some pretty raunchy stuff that took place in the Bible. It's not saying to go do all that, but it's being very, detailed in many of the things that it records. But
yes, but the big question is, how do you know that is what happened? When you have archaeological evidence that refutes this whole idea, then why is it that you just throw that new information away and hold on to this wrong information? I mean, I get it that that's one particular way to combat that cognitive dissonance that you get whenever you hear new information that contradicts what you already believe. I get that just ignoring it and holding on to your dumbass beliefs is one way to resolve it. But I feel like it's a very bad way to resolve it, because you're essentially saying that here's what the Bible says. Nothing can ever prove it wrong. And so if anything ever says it's wrong, then it's that evidence that's wrong. And that's just not a way to analyze the evidence being brought to you for things that you already believe. It's a way to stay indoctrinated into creationism, but it's no way to actually go about your belief system. I really think that that's a bad way to develop your belief system or maintain it, at least.
That it records, but it tells us of the history of the children of Israel, the people of Israel, to bring about the promised Messiah, Jesus Christ. So 2,000 years ago, Christ was here. So about 6,000 years ago, you had creation. 6,000 to 7,000 years ago. 4,400 years ago, you had flood. Then you had Abraham about 4,000 or so years ago. Then you have Jesus Christ here 2,000 years ago. And now for the last 2,000 years, the church age. And depending on your eschatology, actually doesn't depend on your eschatology, at some point the church age is going to be done, and Christ will rule and reign, and looking forward to that. So that's
he's looking forward to the end of the world. That's some fucked up shit to me. Like, I feel like that's really fucked up. To like, you're just waiting for the world to end. It's fucked up. So one thing to consider here is that we definitely know that the 6,000 year figure is wrong. And the way that we can know this is actually by observational evidence. There's these things called zircon crystals, and we can actually date those zircon crystals. The oldest zircon crystals we've ever been able to find is about 4.3 to 4.4 billion years old. And we know from that, as well as meteorites that have landed here on the Earth, we've been able to examine their cores and have been able to determine how old they are. And it's about 4.5 to 4.6 billion years old. So that's how we know how old the Earth is. Now, of course, Eric would shit on radiometric dating. The way that you date zircon crystals is by uranium lead dating. There's also another method, but let's focus on uranium lead. And a lot of times creationists will shit on radiometric dating by saying, well, you don't know how much was there to begin with. And so with uranium lead dating, when zircon crystals form, they're very accepting of uranium isotopes. And so they can easily incorporate uranium isotopes into the crystal structure. But if you find a zircon crystal and it has any amount of lead in it, that is only from radioactive decay, which the radioactive decay, I think that the half-life of uranium is like 4.5 billion years. Okay. So you can measure long time periods with uranium lead dating. And the reason why you can know that lead, it was not in the sample prior to it forming, is because the zircon crystals don't really form all that well with lead. Like it won't allow lead into its like structure. Whereas, you know, it allows the uranium very well. It doesn't allow lead.
That's KC's money.
There you go, honey. You got some money. Your money. And so that's why you use uranium lead dating with that. Typically with radiometric dating, you use radiometric dating methods where you know that one of the elements couldn't have been there beforehand and then are later there in the sample. And so you know the starting amount's 0. But anyways, these zircon crystals and the age of the Earth is verifiably proven through science. And he's just rejecting science for a book.
Rule and reign, and looking forward to that. So that's kind of an overview of what the Bible says happened in the history of the universe. Now, again, that's from a biblical worldview. So you'll notice I'm not going back millions or billions of years. I'm not going back and saying, you know, there was a big bang. That's a totally separate worldview to say that maybe the earth and the universe is 13.8 billion years old and maybe the earth formed 4.6 billion years ago. So two totally different worldviews.
Yes, two totally different worldviews, one based on scientific findings, observational science, and the other based on a book written by people that knew fuck all about the universe. It was written by people. The point in the Bible that he's talking about was written by people who thought the earth was flat. They thought that the celestial realm was the firmament and that there was a dome covering the earth. They literally thought that. You're gonna pit that against modern science, observational science, things that you can't just hand wave away, even though people like Eric Hovind do that. You can't just hand wave it away. You just look fucking dumb.
Versus what a lot of people believe today. And I'll throw in here, because you said we could go for 7 to 8 hours, so I'll just keep on going. Now, let me throw in here, Ryan, that here's the big deceit that's taken place, huge deceit that's been taking place around the world. A lot of people are led to believe now that science contradicts the Bible and science confirms the secular worldview of millions or billions of years.
Well, yes. So, like I said before, with the zircon crystals, it obviously does. But there's also a really great resource that you can use. Now, be a bit critical about it whenever you read it. Really try to understand why these are scientific inaccuracies or historical inaccuracies. But the Skeptic's Annotated Bible, if you go to skepticsannotatedbible.com, you'll be able to find a list of about 469 scientific and historical inaccuracies of the Bible. And let's just take, let's see, 1 Chronicles. All right. The earth shall be stable, that it not be moved, that it be not moved. So basically in 1 Chronicles, it says that the earth is stable and doesn't move at all. Shows that obviously in the Old Testament, they thought that it was a geocentric universe, which, I mean, plenty of people thought at the time. I mean, I've got no problems with that. But see, the thing is that Eric just said that, there's this weird idea that there are scientific inaccuracies in the Bible. I literally, in less than 5 seconds, found an inaccuracy in the Bible, because the earth spins on its axis and the earth also orbits around the sun. The sun does not orbit around us. And that's just a quick 5-second look. Oh, by the way, that's 1 Chronicles 16:30, in case you want to double check me here. It says, fear before him all the earth. The world also shall be stable, that it be not moved. Also, there's the one verse in, I believe it was Joshua, where apparently he made the sun stop in the sky as a sign to go and kill those motherfuckers. So, yeah.
Nothing could be further from the truth. Science consistently confirms the scripture. So that's what Creation Today does. We want to turn stumbling blocks into stepping stones on people's journey to Christ. We want those things that it's like, no, that's impossible. The Bible says this, and this is what we see in science, man. We can turn those into stepping stones where you realize, oh my goodness, that just proves the Bible true, doesn't it? And that
So I feel like what he basically said here, and I mean, you can stop me if I'm wrong about this, but I feel like what he just said is that, yeah, you could point out scientific inaccuracies, but we're just going to take that and we're going to mold it into this stepping stone kind of shit. And then we'll just use it to prop up our own religion. Like, he's literally going to twist the scientific information so that it supports his worldview. That's not how science is supposed to work. That's also not how any kind of critical analysis or critical thinking about whatever proposition is supposed to happen.
over and over and over. So it's one of the things we love doing here at Creation Today.
You mentioned that creation was around 6,000 years ago. Of course, we don't want to put a date and time on it. I've also heard, like you said, that the Earth is millions of years old. And then I've also heard sort of a middle ground where the Earth is tens of thousands of years old.
Happy Thanksgiving, you heathens.
Paleo 101 wishes us a happy Thanksgiving and says we have the rocks. We will, sucker. I agree, we will.
And I think the argument for that view is based on your view of the genealogies that you were talking about. So from what I understand, I'm thinking that your view of genealogies is that the genealogies are something called a closed genealogy. And from what I understand, there's two views on the genealogies in Genesis in the Bible. That's open genealogies and closed genealogies. Closed genealogies say that everyone is listed in the genealogy, in the bloodline. And open genealogies, people who believe in open genealogies would say that only the important people are listed in the genealogies. So can you explain where you stand? I think I know where you stand, but can you explain where you stand and why you believe that?
This is a really good question, because I feel like it should really be rephrased as, can you please, Eric Hovind, tell me why in the fuck do you use these old ass incorrect genealogies in the Bible in order to date your shit? Paleo 101 says geochronology, motherfuckers. Exactly, geochronology. That's what I was talking about with the zircon crystals. That's
Gobble till you wobble, y'all.
That's what I was talking about. The zircon crystals are actually hailed as some of the best timekeepers because of the fact that uranium is easily incorporated into the crystal and lead is just simply not. So if you find any lead whatsoever in it, it's going to be because it decayed from uranium. So it's hard to argue with observational science. He thinks that he has observational science that confirms the Bible. But like, if you don't twist it and you don't make up bullshit reasons as to why it seems that way, and you think that like, I don't know, I've heard it said that, oh, physics operated differently in the pre-flood world. Oh, well, fuck me. It operated differently. How do you know? Oh, well, that's because this rock right here is 4.5 billion years old, but it can't be that because the Bible only goes back 6,000 years. Maybe, just maybe, that's because that's when this particular group of people formed. These people make me pop a blood vessel.
Yeah, I think we do see in Scripture both. And so that's probably what creates some of the confusion. You know, in Matthew, when we're recording the history that led up to Christ, we don't get all of the father, son, grandson, great-grandson. We don't get everybody. They're actually broken down into where there's actually 14 generations from Adam to Abraham and 14. So we get these three numbers of 14 that lead to Christ. And he skips several of the people that would have been either the grandson or the great-grandson, and so you skip two. But nobody in Jewish culture, when this was written, would have taken that as a weird thing. That would have been totally normal under those conditions to, for my dad to say, well, his son Jordan, which is actually my son Jordan, that would not have been awkward at all. That would have been normal.
I mean, I feel like a citation is needed on this. And I mean, maybe I should have talked to Dr. Josh beforehand, but it kind of feels like this is a bullshit point. And I mean, here's the reason why. I mean, familial relation back then was a bit wobbly, I guess. Like in Christianity, you could be considered the brother of another person without being a blood relative, just by being baptized as a Christian. But even so, if you take a look at like Julius Caesar and Caesar Augustus, Caesar Augustus was Julius Caesar's son, but he was an adopted son. And so in that way, things can be a bit flimsy. But like, I really don't see anybody being like, oh, that guy over there is Ken's son. Ken's 90 years old and he's like 12. Are you telling me he fucked somebody and had a 12-year-old kid when he was like 78? Oh, no. By son, I really mean great-grandson. What the fuck? But in the Bible, it says this person begat that person in like a lineage of people. And so it just kind of seems to me like if you're saying this person begat that person, it seems like it's a direct relation. I mean, am I wrong about this? No, KC was like, "Why the fuck are you asking me?" No, this is dumb as shit. Oh, really? Apparently, on Rhino, on the Rhino's charity, Nick Fish of American Atheist gave $225, $222, and we're now only $400 away from 20,000. So that's pretty awesome of Nick Fish there. But in any case, back to this dipshit. So I don't understand this whole idea of now all of a sudden, in order to Thanks for subscribing, Paul. Paul Padilla. I love how at every single point when we bring up how this is bullshit, then they come back with, oh, well, yeah, they didn't list every single person. When they say this guy begat that guy, it just means like, oh, eventually through his other begats, does this guy get begat? So you can ultimately trace it back to that guy. Like, it just seems like you're pulling shit out of your ass there, Eric. Genealogies in general, I think, are really fucking dumb. Last week we saw it with the Hebrew Bible. Apparently the Hebrew Bible is all true because the Israelite parents or the Jewish parents of the current generation told them that it was true, and their parents told them, and their parents told them, all the way back to fucking Moses and Abraham. It's the same kind of shit, except more special bleeding.
In Genesis chapter 5 and Genesis chapter 10, where we get these genealogies, the whole argument of are these open or closed is actually irrelevant. It doesn't make any difference at all. Here's why. Because it's not just saying they had a son, it's giving you a number. They were this old and they had a son. If it just said they had a son, you could argue, well, is it open or closed, and what does it really mean there? But the reason that's irrelevant is because, I mean, I'm at Genesis chapter 5, right here, is because it says over and over, I won't be able to pronounce all these names. I know this is my specialty, but, all right, forgive me there. Seth lived 105 years and begat Enos. Now, was Enos Seth's son or his grandson or his great-grandson? It doesn't matter. You've got a number, 105. So you write down that number, 105.
Yes. So basically, the way they get the 6,000 year number is they go through Genesis, I guess in 5 or 5 and 6 or something like that. Whenever they were doing all the begats in the years that they lived.
Whew, Thanksgiving is not a good day to be my pants. I got my card in my Ridge wallet that you can get for 10% off. She's like, give me your money.
Daniel M says people are going to go around saying, you just got begat. I feel like that would be an insult. Jane used her member milestone chat to say, now I am curious, how did they understand math back then? Didn't math and science as we know it today first emerge in the 1600s? No, I mean, I don't know the history of math. Science definitely, our modern version of science, but math has been going on for a very long time. And so I don't, no, so you would be correct about science, I believe. I don't know when the scientific revolution was or when anything resembling modern science first emerged, but it sounds about right. But in any case, I'm sure there's people in the chat that'll help you out there, Jane. But in any case, I feel like this begat thing, I mean, the fact that it's meaningless for whether or not they're closed or open says a couple of things to me. For one thing, I feel like he's defending that because later on in Matthew and Luke, they have genealogies that trace Jesus all the way back. And so those being open genealogies now means that they're not contradictory, that they're just listing off different levels of the genealogy. And so they can't be contradictory, which is kind of weird. But the fact that, it doesn't matter for Genesis here, but he still spent a lot of time explaining it. I feel like it's very telling. Very telling for him being able to recontextualize what's literally written on the fucking page. And he turns that into a stepping stone by twisting it and molding it into what he wants it to be instead of what it actually is. But the counting up of the years, like, it's ridiculous to think a human can live 900 years. We no evidence whatsoever that has ever been the case. We have no evidence whatsoever of people showing to be that old ever in human history. So it feels like you would need some kind of evidence to suggest that that could actually happen.
And you can actually take these genealogies. After he begot Enosh, Seth lived 807 years and had sons and daughters. All the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. Enosh lived 90 years and begat Canaan. After he begat Canaan, Enosh lived. So you can go through here, and whether they're open or closed, you got numbers.
Well, you know what? Gandalf's about 24,000 years old, so he's beat your ass pretty hard here. You can't, like, Adam ain't got shit on Gandalf there, Eric. Gandalf's 24,000 fucking years old. He's older than your God creating the universe. I mean, granted, I think he lives in a totally different, like, dimension or reality or something like that. But that shouldn't matter because Gandalf is 24,000 years old, and we have to start with Gandalf 24,000 years ago.
You got numbers. So it says Adam was 930 when he died. Seth was 912, and we also get the age that these people were born. Enos 905, Canaan 910, Mahalalel 895. The dates are all right here in Scripture. So what we do to determine the age isn't looking at, well, is it father, son, father, son? We're looking at the actual numbers that are given to us that are revealed, I believe, kept track of from Adam all the way down, and then divinely inspired through Moses to write down and to preserve all that time. So
I like how it's, all of this happened, and then Moses was divinely inspired to write it all down. So it all still ultimately revolves around this fictional character, Moses, getting high as fuck, hallucinating up in the mountains, not allowing anybody to come up there at all. Like, that's literally what happens in the Old Testament. Moses is leading all these people out into the desert, and then he's like, I've got to go up here and talk to God for about 40 days. Yeah, seriously, 40 days. Got to go up there and talk to him for about 40 days. Nobody can come up there. Nobody can see God. Nobody can talk to God. It's just going to be me up there with a whole bunch of food and sacrificial things and everything. And I'm just going to talk to God, and we're going to write down the history of the universe. Okay. That's what we're going to do. Just trust me about this and believe it. Okay. You can trust me. Okay. It still ultimately resolves to this fictional character being trusted to write down the truth of history because God told him. I don't know why this is convincing to anybody. Like, why the fuck on earth is this convincing at all? Huh. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, already got it. Sorry about this, guys. Oh, you mean my Ridge wallet? All right. Who's your buddy says, but GE, Moses is the only one who can use the seer stones.
I gotta tell you,
I'm
thankful for my liquor.
Jester says, oh my God, my end comment is responding to a smarter
Gobble
argument
till
that
you
he's
wobble,
presented-
y'all.
than he's presented. Oh man, I can't wait to read that. Please don't change it. We got Daniel M says, lately I have been
I
watching
gotta tell you, I am thankful for my liquor.
Obviously I am. Lately I've been watching a bunch of shit about Egypt, and never was there any mention from the Egyptians about the plague shit. That's right. That's another thing that doesn't agree with history is the whole Exodus. In fact, modern scholarship has shown that Moses did not write the first 5 books of the Bible. In fact, Abraham, Moses, Noah, all of the patriarchs of the Old Testament, they never existed, more than likely. So he's relying a lot on the Bible being inerrant, and it's because of that presupposition that the Bible can't be wrong that he builds his entire case off of. But so what that basically means is that imagine like imagine an upside down pyramid, if you will. You just knock out that one thing and the entire pyramid falls. And the way that you do that is by showing that the Bible is not inerrant. The fact that Moses and Abraham, Jacob, and all them never existed should refute any notion that the Bible is accurate in its telling of history. Oh, Zachary, don't ask Dr. David Falk, or else he'll accuse you of like being paid off by somebody to have an opinion. He's the guy that recently shit talked Dr. Josh Bowen, and he can just go and fuck off.
So that's why I say the issue is irrelevant, because it gives us the time frames. I do think that some people are trying to find a way to add time to the Bible. My question would be, why? I mean, the only reason, and if somebody out there knows of another one, please email and let me know, erichovind@creationtoday.org. The only reason to add time to the Bible is to try to adopt more of the naturalistic or the secular worldview, which teaches, well, hey, the earth is this many million years old, and the universe is this many billion, or the earth is this many, 4.6 billion years old. Man has been here for 3 million years. Some would say 2 million, but 2 to 3 million years. So the only reason to add time to the Bible is to incorporate this kind of worldview. Going back 10.
So what I'll say here is that you're in this current predicament, you're in a situation where one of two things has to happen. Okay, here they are, two things. So either the Bible has to be wrong, or science has to be wrong. Like, they're contradictory. In these particular contexts, they are contradictory. And a lot of other contexts are contradictory too. But let's just stay within the context that we're talking about here. You have science who has verifiably shown that the universe is 13.8, I think, maybe billion years old. And then you've got the Earth that is 4.5 to 4.6 billion years old. And then you've got the Bible, who says that no, it's 6,000 years old. But we have verifiable observational evidence from science that it could only ever be 4.5 to 4.6 billion years old. And then we've got the Bible. Considering that the Bible was written by fallible men who didn't know a lick about the universe, they thought that the universe all revolved around the Earth, and that there was a dome covering the fucking planet, and the planet was flat. I feel like the Bible being bullshit and being wrong about this point is more likely than like the half-life of uranium. Like I feel like the half-life of uranium is far more stable than whoever wrote the fucking Bible.
Worldview. Going back 10,000 years or 20,000 years and saying, well, actually man was created 20,000 years ago, Well, it's not consistent with scripture. It's not, we can talk about this later, but it's not consistent with mathematics. It's not consistent with population growth.
Gobble, gobble, motherfucker.
Caught me at the right time. Jason Kolasik says, worldview sounds like fine tuning. Oh, sorry. Hashtag not sponsored yet. Casey didn't hear me. Apparently she did. You're not deaf? You sure? Okay. So it's very interesting that he brings up population growth here. Because in numbers, the Israelite people go from just a very small group to numbering in the millions, violating all known population statistics, population genetics. That they violate every single known principle of population science. And he wants to sit there and be like, well, if you think that humans were created 20,000 years ago, that's going to violate population stuff. And it's like, what, motherfucker? Hold on, I can bring you up. Let's see. One. All right, Exodus, right? Exodus 1, 5, 7, 12, 37, 38, 26. The Israelite population goes from just 70 or 75 individuals, right? 70 or 75 individuals to several million over just a few hundred years. Now, considering that they weren't allowed to, like, I guess, fuck outside of the Israelite nation, these were all people that were interbreeding. And if you don't know your population genetics, 70 to 75 is not exactly enough to stave off, like, the genetic defects from inbreeding. And it also doesn't provide enough genetic variety in order for that population to survive. And not to mention the fact that they would have had to do a shit ton of fucking in order to produce that many people. Like, it's an insurmountable amount of fucking that would have to occur in the Israelite nation in order for those numbers. I mean, it's almost like Matthew McConaughey showed up as like, you gotta pump them numbers up. And there was like, oh, we gotta fuck like rabbits? Okay. We're fucking like rabbits. Is this what you want, God? Slaughter some calves while you're fucking too. I'll slaughter a calf while I'm fucking God. It's ridiculous to sit there and complain about population statistics and genetics and mathematics when a literal reading of the Bible violates that on its face. All right, we're almost done.
Population growth, it's not consistent with what we see. I don't understand the reason for it. So when you take the dates in the Bible, you kind of get a minimum and maximum age for about how long the earth was around before Abraham. So we estimate, we put it at about 2,000 years. But it's actually based on the dates in the Bible, and you got to, give some leeway room. If Seth was 105, well, did he just turn 105? Or was he actually about to turn 106? We have about a year time frame in there that we just don't know. When you do all the estimates, you realize, well, it can be about 19...
This'll buy me some pie. I love pie.
Pie's pretty good when it's like sugar-free and, keto, not keto, but diabetic friendly. Alex Baranowski says this is about 2 minutes late, but the gobble gobble motherfucker notification at the same time as the population growth made me think Jeffrey Dahmer has entered the chat.
About 1985 years from creation to Abraham, or as low as 1948 years from Adam Did I say Noah? From Adam to Abraham. Did I say Noah just a minute ago?
No, you said creation.
Oh, from creation to Abraham. So you got a little bit of wiggle room right there in the number of years just based on the genealogy. But it was definitely a young earth into which Abraham was born. There's no doubt about it.
Gotcha.
There's no doubt about it, guys. Guys, there's no doubt about it. There's obviously doubt about it. There's a lot of things that you can point out here that is just wrong about the biblical account. For one thing, it goes against observational science, which a lot of creationists like to, suggest that observational science only proves the Bible. But as we saw tonight with Eric Hovind here, he admits that he twists the scientific information in order for it to work for his worldview. And he turns it into a Frankenstein version of its former self in order to push creationism. So he'll do whatever it takes in order to support the creationist idea. If that means twisting scientific facts and information, he will do that in order to create those stepping stones. And I feel like this just highlights how dishonest Eric Hovind is, and how at every single turn Eric Hovind should be countered. I think that people should pose these questions to him. Like, hey, Eric, how do you fucking explain zircon crystals? And why we found zircon crystals that date to 4.5 billion years ago? Why is it that we can date shit that is so much older than your supposed creation story? Why is it that we have direct archaeological evidence of civilizations existing prior to 6,000 years ago? Why is it that God has created this entire reality as if it were old and has set things up to make it look like it was old, but yet it was only created 6,000 years ago? Why would a God do that? And I'm guessing he would come back with, well, to test your faith. If you're easily convinced by these things, then you're not really a believer in Christ or God or whatever in the fuck kind of gatekeeping he wants to do with his faith. And it's so frustrating to hear somebody like this. Somebody that does have power and influence in his own way. He has influence over the people that believe him. And him just outright saying that he will twist scientific information in order to push his worldview is just disgusting to me. Because at that point, you're weaponizing somebody's beliefs against them. And I think that's just a shitty fucking thing to do. You shouldn't weaponize someone's beliefs against them. And it's horrible to hear. And it just pisses me off. You can't see it, but I got veins popping out of my fucking head. Anyways, that's going to be it for our show tonight. If you liked it, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. I'd really love to hear if you've got some more information that counters what Eric Hovind has said here. Obviously, I didn't go through every single scientific inaccuracy in the Bible. We would be here the entire fucking weekend if I had to do that. I gave a few examples, but I'm sure that you guys have so many more examples of how science refutes the Bible. So let me know about those things down in the comments. We're about to go into the Skeptic Mafia comments, which if you don't know, if you're part of the Skeptic Mafia, you get to leave a comment on the video that we are going to review on Friday nights. So if you want the ability to do that, join the Skeptic Mafia. You'll also be helping us give foster kids presents this year. We're going to be getting presents for foster kids. It's something that we've done for the past, 2 to 3 years? This will be the 3rd year. So help us do that. Or you could go to Vice Rhino and donate, which I think they hit over 20,000. They hit over 20,000 within this stream. People donated enough to hit 20,000. Thanks everybody. I don't know if anybody here donated, but yeah. Well, of course we donated to it. People in the chat did too? Really? Awesome. That is so awesome to hear that you guys in the chat went over there and donated to Vice Rhino. That's so awesome. And you know, well, it's the Project Share, but it's Vice Rhino organized it. And I just gotta say, I think that Mrs. Rhino would be so happy about this. She'd be so proud of everybody. She would just be ecstatic. And I'm really glad that something positive was able to come out of this. Yeah. So anyways, we're about to get into the Skeptic Mafia comments. I know that Vice is going to be keeping the donation link open, so please, if you can donate, you got an extra $5 or whatever. I know that so many people have given to us tonight, but you know, if anybody out there wants to still give to Vice Share fundraiser, please do. It's definitely something that's needed. So you know, go and do that. But anyways, we're about to get into the Skeptic Mafia comments. If you will, don't forget to smash that like button before you leave out. If you are leaving out, you're not staying for the Skeptic Mafia comments, that's perfectly fine. Smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and I guess we will see you heathens on Sunday. Sunday. And I don't care if the whole neighborhood knows it. Carrier is going to be debating Father James Gadd on the Gospels. So if you want to see that, then tune in on Sunday. If I don't see you there, that's perfectly fine. And I will see you guys on Monday with a brand new Mythicist video. So y'all have an awesome weekend. And don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Bye, heathens. But don't go yet, because we are going to be doing the Skeptic Mafia comments. I just got to get shit set up. And of course, I don't really have, you know, I don't have smooth transitions yet because of shit to do with my computer. Let me just get to them really quick, and then so we got 13 comments, it looks like. Lucky number 13. Yeah, I'm gonna, okay, just so that everybody knows, I have the post comments up, sorted by newest. There's nothing held in review. Let me double check. Christmas is there. Let me check my comments. Held for review. Let's see. And it's on screen, so everybody knows, like, it's not. I don't see anybody's comment that was mysteriously held or anything like that. Mentions. That's interesting. I've not seen that particular thing before. Anyways, all right. So I've done my due diligence. As you guys can tell, it seems to be good. All right. First up on the Skeptic Mafia comments, we got Sean J, who says, "No, Eric, misinterpreting science findings to fit your narrative does not mean that science affirms your worldview." Exactly, Sean. It fucking gets me every time when they do that kind of shit. It just it pops a blood vessel in my head. Jester says, "I fully accept that my hypothetical could be entirely wrong, as I have done no research and because I might just not understand what they mean, but please hear me out." Wait, so he talks about how big the discrepancy can get with just a 1-year window, but if we accept that to begat can include adopting a son, then I guess I can just adopt a 7-year-old when I'm 30. And now, because either of us can have just aged up or be near the end of our year, you will have to adjust for a 7 to 9 year discrepancy. How fast can this add up? When Kent Hovind was 68, he begat Matt Powell, who was 43 at the time. When Matt Powell was 23, he begat Dr. Peel, who was 6 at that time. When Dr. Peel was 24, he begat Otangelo Grasso, who was born at this time. Considering that it was not uncommon for men of power to adopt fully grown men, this doesn't seem unlikely to me. But it also means that Kent begat Matt a full 20 years after Matt begat Dr. Peel, and Dr. Peel himself was already 6, so in order to calculate the amount of time passed, we have to adjust for all this bullshit. Only problem here, the Bible, in its infinite wisdom, would have recorded that information. So no, Eric, I don't think it doesn't matter to your model because we have numbers. Discrepancies stop mattering when we have enough information to adjust them out. Your open system model doesn't do that to my satisfaction. I agree. It doesn't do hardly anything. All right, now we got Jonathan Nickel. Eric Hovind is Bishop James Usher, and I claimed my 5 pounds. That is a joke not uncommon in the UK, based on an old newspaper competition which offered cash prizes for spotting famous people in public, and perhaps there is some relevance. Okay, Eric is famous for all the wrong reasons, not for the least for who his dad happens to be. He is also a precept, which is why he, like all Christian fundamentalists, starts with the Bible as his foundation. Another fundamental mistake is where he claims at the start that history or evidence should be based around a worldview. No, facts are facts. It does not matter what your view of them happens to be. Everything he believes is based around that book. He pins creation down to around 6,000 to 7,000 years ago, even though the evidence from history shows that human civilizations predated that by quite some distance. Oh, that's so fucking true. He then goes on to talk about the flood, which he believes happened, but which could not have happened. And even if it was possible, it still didn't happen. The Chinese, for example, lived right through the time he would imagine the flood to have happened, without even getting their feet wet. The Tower of Babel is a myth based loosely on fact. The Tower of Babel, originally the Etemenaki Ziggurat, is a real place, but the Bible story bears little resemblance to the history of that place, which dates back to the time of Hammurabi. Certainly, people would have been speaking multiple languages long before the construction of that tower. After his chronology, he talks about the science contradicting the Bible, which it does, repeatedly, and the secular worldview. I am not aware of one singular secular worldview, and science is not one, it is a method, based around observation, experimentation, and repeatability. Whether the genealogy is open or closed doesn't matter. He needs to demonstrate that the biblical genealogy in any way corresponds with reality, a task made rather difficult considering that some of the biblical patriarchs were said to have lived for hundreds of years, and there is no real evidence that any human has ever lived that long. Eric remarks that we don't have a complete line and talks of generations. If some people in the Bible live for hundreds of years and may have waited hundreds of years before having children, how could Eric possibly know how long each of those generations lasted? Doesn't that invalidate his claim of 6,000 to 7,000 years? Even when he does base all of his reasoning on the Bible, he later says we can count it all up on the numbers and ages, but from his own admission, there are gaps. Well, he seems to think that there's a continuous line that they've drawn in the ages. So like Adam and then blah, 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 blah. Like Adam lived this 900 years and then, the next person lived this long kind of thing. So it's like he can figure out exactly like the exact time frame or something. I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense. He says that Moses wrote some of it, but the scholarly consensus is that Moses never existed. His birth story so closely mirrors that of Sargon. The Bible has clearly borrowed from that story, and there is no evidence that the Jews were ever enslaved in Egypt. He certainly couldn't have written all of the Pentateuch, since part of it records his own death. He says people try to add time to the Bible, but I see no reason to even consider the Bible. He thinks the scientific evidence which disproves him is just a secular worldview, but the only worldview evident is his own, where he starts with the book and he tries to fit all of reality into its pages. I'd rather start with a blank slate and base my understanding of reality on demonstrable evidence. The only evidence we can draw from the Bible is that some time ago somebody wrote a book, or rather a collection of anonymous authors wrote a series of stories. Anything beyond that is speculation, and any part of it which cannot be shown to be true should be discarded for that purpose. Eric in no way proved a young Earth, as the video claimed. All he showed was that he built his house of cards upon a single book, not really realizing that the foundations were unstable from the start and have already collapsed. Thank you so much there, Jonathan, for that very extensive comment. Always appreciate your comments. Alex Baranowski says, lol, I thought the dude in the video preview was Eric Hovind, and I was like, he looks way different than I last remembered. I don't think I heard him present any evidence for his claims, but then again, he is a Hovind. I will say Eric nailed the typical Florida man look. Insert one shill here. It's been a long week and I've been sick with some respiratory infection. Had a lot of stuff to do at school on top of it, so I'm exhausted. Be sure to wash your hands. See everyone tonight. So, as far as shilling goes, you can become a Skeptic Mafia member. We do a lot of great shit. I currently owe at least one Mafia hangout, and then there's another Mafia hangout that's supposed to happen this month. So I'm a little behind in the Mafia hangouts, but I promise I'm gonna get caught up one day. Okay, I'm keeping track of the IOUs. Okay. Next up we got the Wizard of Oz saying God's log start date 0. Oh fuck! You know what? I've been doing this entire time without the comments on the screen. Oh no. Well, did I miss Daniel M's? Here, I'm gonna refresh. Comments noticed. Oh, that's so weird. Okay, yeah. Crap, I had it on screen. You guys didn't see it, but I was reading right down the list, and apparently, like it has fucking messed up shit. So one that I missed was Jane Pusecker, who said, after only hearing minutes of this video, I could listen to the rest. The first few minutes, he was already debunked by saying the genealogies have proved the young Earth universe. While the Bible does imply 6 days, which would be Monday through Saturday for us, according to Answers in Genesis website. A man by the name even James Ussher, a famous and respected archbishop from Ireland in the 17th century, declared the world was created in 4004 BC. However, based on what we know today through doing testing through carbon dating and other methods, we know there is no way this year cannot be accurate. Well, I would say that carbon dating does disprove that, because carbon dating can be accurate up to like around 75, like I think 70,000 years might be the absolute limit, but definitely about 50,000 to 70,000 years is what carbon dating can show us. So I would definitely agree that carbon dating could definitely refute the creationist claim, and then the other methods would definitely refute that, because those would show even older dates. So yeah. The simple truth when it comes to the year of the universe and Earth was created, we simply don't know. At best, we have philosophical and scientific guesses, and that's okay. It is okay to admit when we don't know something until we do know something. I just wish these morons would start pulling dates and years out of their butt when they really don't know. Yeah, I agree there, Jane. Thank you so much for yours. So we get Wizard of Oz, who says God's log start date 0. We were floating at the edge of space somewhere near the Milky Way galaxy when the drugs began to take hold. We were watching Eric Hovind at the time. Command Cyborg says, "Hello, world. Hard for it to be any less than 6,000 years? Your God has to be almost as much of a liar if the world was merely thousands of years old as if the world started as if the world started as is last Tuesday. Oh, them highly exaggerated ages of people? Yeah, we're well aware of them, and they aren't reliable at friggin' all. The flood and the great tower that never happened, nor could they? How would behemoths like the whale peen survive in such unsalinated, Davy Hovind voice, waters?" And voice, by the way, go to jail, Kent. Damn. So, what exactly from the Bible? What exactly from the Bible should we try at home? And why? Are you perhaps thinking thinking of what Lot's daughters did in that cave? Or that guy who called down 2 she-bears to maul like 100 of the neighborhood kids? Well, technically it was 42. It was 2 she-bears and 42 kids, I do believe. Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, it's a different worldview than yours. To think that science is giving us the best possible understanding of how the universe works up to today. And it doesn't even posit internally coherent triomni beings or universe farting pixies outside of space-time. Or nothing. Just things operating within the laws of physics, and they are descriptive by the way. And science has almost nothing to say about what scripture says, except for when them old books are just wrong. Farewell. Finally, there's also a third and correct way to view the genealogies. They're utter bullcrap, and the Moses figure ain't based on no true story. Smash all the buttons, ring-a-ling-a-ding, rama-lama-ding-dong, join the mafia, and play with the emoticons like all of those. Also, at the mafioso level or above, you can vote for and see the Friday video a little beforehand. And most importantly, and totally worth it in my opinion, leave your comments that GE will read for everyone to hear. Even including nonsense like indexing at 3 is totally rad! Or, I like Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda. Even if Kevin Sorbo, known from TV's Hercules and unfortunately Twitter, turned out to be a weird conservative Christian conspiracy shill in his later days. That's all, folks. Thank you and good night. Transmission terminated. Also, Jim Caviezel, who played Jesus, is now a QAnon crazy as fuck person. So, there's that. Quentin Van Booven says, the first thing that made me pause was him stating the very reason God created man was to worship him. What kind of purpose for life is that? Is God's ego so small he needed it to be struck by billions? I don't know. It seems pretty easy to accept Big Bang in Christianity. Just have the creation story be made up, and it's just saying God made all of this. The details of how aren't really important. Science, for the most part, doesn't contradict the Bible, but that's mainly because the Bible has few scientific claims, and the ones it does tend to be just as easily falsifiable, like having animals fuck in front of spots so the offspring will have spots. I would like to see Eric's explanation for the example I just gave if he's saying science is constantly proving the Bible, as there is no way that is scientific. Then again, Eric would probably just say this part is a metaphor, which only makes me question how he decides what is and isn't a metaphor within the Bible. We see if it contradicts something that's demonstrably wrong, metaphorical. They have a lot of faith in nobody forgetting to record some generations. Time to shill. Actually, I'm feeling lazy tonight. GE, will you insert one generic shilling here? Sure. You can go to ridge.com/godless engineer and get 10% off a Ridge wallet. Or you could also subscribe to the channel, send a super chat every once in a while, become a member. The members get a lot of perks. There's a lot of perks that come with being a member. If anything, becoming a shill as the member level shill gets you all the emoticons in the side chat. So definitely check that out. All right, finally, let's see. We got Grifter's Deuce, who says he proved one thing: he got infected with the douche during the pandemic, put aviators on him, have him blowing a ridiculously large vape cloud, and the transformation will be complete. He will be the super douche canoe prophet that the ancient writings foretold. Let's see. Sean J. also said, no, Eric, misinterpreting scientific findings. Fit your narrative. Does that mean? Oh, okay. I already read that one. Already read Jonathan's. Gary says, we go from Dick Dastardly to Mudley, while another Hovind with a train wreck of a video. Can't wait to watch this dumpster fire. Jonathan Hanachak says, while we're watching this dumbass tonight, facepalm protection activated. A whole bunch of emojis. He loves those emojis, guys. Then we got Trickster says, isn't it kind of funny how Eric asked to prove the age of the earth biblically, only to jump from creation to the flood and to the Tower of Babel, and even to Jesus himself. He uses the unreliable genealogies as proof that the earth is only 6,000 years old, adding that the ages of the people were included, so adding their ages is how he gets to the figure of 6,000 years. Eric seems to either forget or not understand that the tracking of time has changed drastically, and many times since the time the Bible was written. He also states that some estimation has to be used to achieve what he's trying to get to. In the end, he is simply restating things that he has been taught and not bringing anything new to the table. To say that I am not impressed would be a huge understatement. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, G and KC, for all the entertainment and knowledge you bring us. And please keep bringing us some more. We definitely will there, Trickster. And then finally, we got some derp squirrels. Derp squirrel action. ASCII artist formerly known as Chrismer here. Can't even begin to describe how wrong he is on every single thing. So I'll just let John do it and just keep doing my ASCII comments because, hell, I'm just an ASCII bot here to amuse you all, and I love it. I'll start with good old classic, fail well, it never ceases to entertain. And then there's a bruh, because bruh, you be spouting some nonsense. And to finish her off, here's oh, that's a me! I'm an ASCII! Because again, bruh, John here to debunk your bullshit. Now to the shilling. If you enjoy this type of content, I'd suggest you go ahead and lick that like button, as well as subscribe, and go ahead and share it on all the social medias and all that bull. If you really want to help out, join the Skeptic Mafia today. Perks, there are perks. For one, you get to see the videos in advance, and you get to have your comments read out loud live. Yes, like he's doing right goddamn now. So you can make him say really silly stuff like, worst Italian accent, now that's a spicy meatball. Or, always index of 1. I don't know. Anyway, I think that's enough shilling for today. Good night, everyone. Blessed be. Thank you so much to the Chrismer. Now, I know that Daniel M. said that his comment is supposed to be in here. There's nothing held for review. Let's see. Let me refresh. Newest comments first. Jester, Jane, Alex Wizard, Command, Quentin, Grifters, Sean, Jonathan, Gary, Jonathan, Trickster, Derpscore. Yeah, Daniel M, if you left a comment, I'm not exactly sure where it is, but maybe we'll find it one day. It's probably lost. See it on my end anymore. Oh, weird, Daniel. Anyways, that's gonna be our show for tonight. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I know that I did. Thank you guys so much for being so generous to the to not only this channel but also to Vice Rhinos, the Rhinos, their charity fundraiser. I know they do it every single year, or at least they have been the past few years, and it's just so awesome to see it break that 20K mark. I know Mrs. Rhino would be so happy about that. And I'm so glad that we were able to do that. Just in general, yeah, everybody that donated to it. It's great to see. And I really wish that she could be here to see all this, because I know that she'd be happy. And I hate that she's not. I kind of feel like the world is much worse off without her in it. I hate that she's gone. But anyways, later on this weekend we've got the Carrier versus Gad debate. So definitely be looking out for that. What we're going to do for that debate is we're not going to really address any super chats during it. But if you want your question to be asked to the two debaters, then you're going to need to do a super chat. I will be keeping record of those, and I will be feeding them to Captain Dadpool, who will be the moderator, and he can read off the questions for Carrier and Gad. So definitely tune in on Sunday for that awesome debate. Tune in later on December 4th, or 3rd, sorry, on December 3rd for the Carrier refutation of Bart Ehrman. Bart Ehrman. Ehrman. Fuck, I don't know. I'm tired. Had some really great people in the chat here, like Derp Squirrels. GE has been askified. Daniel M says, I said fuck a few times and took a jab at the in-laws. I guess YouTube didn't like it. iHeart Dog, he missed. I'm so sorry about that, iHeart. I didn't see yours in the comments there, so sorry I missed that. Hellbound Hibbo says YouTube won't let me post any of the 7 words George told us about in my Mafia comments. And I didn't mean to miss you. I feel like I went through and I read all the ones, all of the ones that I saw. Let's see. Maybe this will work though, Jason. Is that gonna work for the Streamlabs? Huh? Am I coming? I will be. I'm not done yet. Yeah, I'm working on it. There you go. Carrier v Gad. Don't miss the Carrier versus Gad debate. There's a link to it this Sunday. And I gotta go get Xander to bed. And so I will be seeing you heathens later. Don't forget to stand up, use your voice, and all that kind of good shit. And I guess I will see y'all later. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Bye, heathens. So sorry. Hold on.